you want? How easy it would be if we could just pose that question to our audience, and then we would know exactly what content to create. We would know exactly where to get our content ideas from. But what if you don't have an audience, or you have a very tiny audience? Where do you tap into then to find content ideas? I'm going to share with you 5 places where you can go to look for content ideas, regardless of whether you have an audience or you don't. I used these places when I was just starting out with barely any people on my email list. I still use them today to find new evergreen content ideas. Before we dive right in, if you are looking for more resources on content marketing, I have got 2 books on Amazon, The Profitable Content System, as well as the 1-hour content plan. Go and check them out. I have the link in the description below. Now, before I walk you through where exactly you should be looking for content ideas, I want to talk about having a swipe file. Alright, it's important for content creators to have a swipe file. Whether you have a YouTube channel, whether you have a blog or a podcast, a swipe file is really important. So what exactly is a swipe file? This could be a folder on your computer, it could be, some kind of a folder on your phone, or it could be a Dropbox, it could be a Google folder, it could be anything. You just need a place for your swipe file, and this is where you are going to be adding in or filing in content ideas that you are inspired by, that you like, that you have seen others doing. Okay, that maybe you chance upon in your Facebook feed or via a Facebook ad. Alright, so this is where you want to be collecting all of those ideas. Now, why do this? Because we don't want to create something from scratch. Yes, we're not going to copy any of those ideas, but we can very well use them as a starting point, right? A jumping off point to create our very own ideas. Alright, so a swipe file is very important, and I have swipe files for email ideas, I've got a swipe file for my content, I've got a swipe file for specifically for YouTube ideas as well. So I work on Evernote, and this is where I collect all of my ideas, and this is where I house my swipe files. Before it goes into my editorial planner, Create, I have it right up here. Okay, so I use Create. That is my kind of like my customized planner that is on Amazon. You can go and check that out. So once I have a theme for my month, I would go into my swipe file, and depending on what the goal is for that month, I would be picking out content ideas before I get them onto my Create planner for me to kind of flesh them out and then schedule them so that I know exactly when it's going to be published. Okay, so regardless of what kind of planner you use, have some kind of a swipe file system in place. So I use, like I said, I use Evernote, and whenever I come across any good content piece, any blog post, or anything that comes across my Facebook feed, I would just use Evernote and I would send a clip. I would clip it, and then it would automatically save into my swipe file. Or if I come across an email that is nice, I want to kind of use that as an inspiration for a piece that I want to write, or for a video I want to create, or for a training that I want to create for members in Ad Academy, I would send it to this specific email address, and then it would be saved automatically into my swipe file. So you don't really need Evernote to have this kind of a system in place. Alright, you could use a tool like Pocket. I used to use Pocket before, and what this would do is it kind of creates a nice kind of a swipe pocket of blog articles or any kind of videos or content ideas that you come across, and then you could just go back into it and have a look whenever you are digging around for content ideas. There are lots of other tools in the market that you can use as well. So regardless of the tool that you use, have a swipe file, because it's going to save you an enormous amount of time. So start with having a swipe file for your main content channel. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a YouTube channel, it could be a blog, it could be a podcast, it could be anything. Have a swipe file for that, and then you can progress later on to have a swipe file for email ideas, to have a swipe file for, if you have a membership, for trainings that you can create, and so on and so forth. Now, one of my favorite places to look at is Answer the Public. So this is a free tool. So you just go in and you could type in a keyword, and then it is going to pull out all of these different questions, right? And it's even going to create like a nice grid or a nice map for you, and you can actually go through all of the questions that people are asking about this very keyword of this very topic that you typed in. And this serves as an amazing point for you to start getting those content ideas, because it gives you a clue as to what people are looking for. Now, you could use Answer the Public together with this other tool called Keywords Everywhere, right? So Keywords Everywhere, it used to be free, but it isn't free right now. I think you need to pay a little bit of money to kind of access the tool, but it's not very much, right? So it's just a couple of dollars, and then you would be able to do searches on it. So you could take your ideas that you find from Answer the Public and then make sure you have the plugin installed, and when you do a search, Keywords Everywhere is going to show you how many people are actually looking or searching for this very content or this very question that you just typed in. And based on that, you would be able to kind of figure out, all right, this is more popular, this isn't as popular, let me do this first and keep this for later on. So I kind of use both of these together. Okay, now the next tool that I highly recommend is Facebook groups. And I know, don't roll your eyes, I've said this so many times, especially if you are a student in any of my courses. I've said this to death, right? Facebook groups are a gold mine of information. And you know, you don't really need to be an active participant, right? You can just be lurking around in Facebook groups. What is important is to find niche Facebook groups where your ideal audience is going to be hanging out. Go in there, use the search function. Alright, you don't get into this rabbit hole of just scrolling through those posts. You're not going to get anywhere, right? Use the search function, use the quote marks, right? Type in your keyword, and I guarantee you, you're going to find lots of conversations, people asking questions, people looking for ideas, looking for answers, and you are going to be able to turn a lot of those conversations into content ideas. And I actually use Facebook groups very regularly to even look for ideas for my tripwires or look for ideas for my courses and my other training programs as well. Now, what you want to do is have like a little spreadsheet or something like that, and then copy in or take screenshots of all of these different conversations so that you have a place for you to kind of review them, and you would know exactly what people are looking for, and you would be able to know what they're looking for in the very same words that they're using. Because remember, how you approach a topic and how you converse about a topic is going to be different from how your audience converses about the topic. You are a couple of steps ahead of them. So the way you talk about it is not going to be the same as how they are going to be talking about it. The way you talk about it doesn't matter as much as how they are talking about it, because you need to use their words so that they will be able to identify with your content. Now, the next place I look at is Amazon. This is like my favorite platform. So I will always go into the Kindle books section and I will look at all the different categories. So depending on your niche, I guarantee you there's a category out there. Go in and take a look at the books that are doing well. Go into those books and look at the reviews, right? If you look at the 2-star and the 3-star reviews, you will be able to kind of pick out what exactly people are not happy about the book. If you look at the higher reviews, those 4-star, 5-star reviews, you'll be able to know exactly what people are looking for. Some of them might even tell you, hey, I was looking for this and this book gave me the answer. So those are like a gold mine of information. You could use a lot of those reviews. You could use the books that are out there and then kind of tailor them to create content ideas for your blog or your podcast or your YouTube channel as well. Now, similarly, I also like to look at Udemy, right? So I would go and type a keyword of the topic, just search for information about the topic or about the category that you are working on, and depending on what courses pop up there, okay, I would be able to go in and then I would look at even the outline of those courses. What are they talking about? What is interesting? What can I pick up from there to tailor and to make into a content piece or a content idea that I can share with my audience. You could also look at the reviews and what people are looking for. What question were they looking for when they stumbled upon this course? These are things that you also can look at to create content ideas for your content channel. Now, another place to look at is the peers in your niche or the competitors in your niche. So a lot of people don't like it and they get a little bit irked when I use the word competitors. But no matter how you see them, there are lots of different people being a part of this conversation. So any niche that you're a part of, you are a participant in the conversations that are going around. So for instance, I talk about digital products and there are lots of people talking about digital products. Not everyone has the same angle that I'm talking about. People talk about different things. I focus a lot on building a product ecosystem, talking about bite-sized offers. Other people focus on talking about just creating courses or just creating memberships. So they are all a part of the conversation about digital products, but we all talk about different things. So have a look at what these people are talking about. Okay, look at the content ideas that they are bringing to their audience. Is there anything that you can give an opposing view on? Is there anything that you can give a different slant or a different angle on? Okay, this is what you want to look at as well. So I'm not saying to copy those people's ideas, but if you have a general sense of the conversation that is going on in your niche, you would be able to put a stand and bring content out there that highlights you and makes you stand out, because you don't want to say what exactly they're saying, okay? But if you know exactly what they're talking about, you're going to be able to position yourself differently. You're going to be able to position yourself as someone who potentially has a different point of view, who maybe doesn't agree with the framework or the methodology. You can do all of this without calling out any single person. So if you think about it, you can actually go through and access any of these 5 platforms to look for content ideas, even if you're brand new, if you're starting from scratch and you don't have an audience. So none of this involves asking your audience, what content do you want? So if that is something that is holding you back and you feel that, I don't think I can create content because I don't really know what my audience wants, because I don't have an audience, use any of these 5 places as a jumping off point for you to start creating content. Don't let that hold you back. And often when you ask your audience what they want, it's not likely that they actually know what they are looking for. It's better for you to go out into places where they are interacting, like Facebook groups or even in different forums, and see what they are asking people about. So I hope this video is helpful. If it was, give me a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.